Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners. Goldylocks Productions presents Enlightening Conversations with Pam Silver Eagle.
Welcome everybody onto the perch, and I am Pam Silver Eagle. For those of you who may have not been on the platform with me in the past, up here on the perch, I do this every Tuesday on Goldylocks Productions, and every week I have a special guest, but I do indeed today, and I'm going to introduce her in just a couple minutes. But first, a few things here to set the ground for everyone's understanding, for our viewers, whenever you may be viewing, whether it be now live. Awesome. Or anytime that may be, and as many times as it may be more convenient for you, just simply through the same link. And if you are watching on YouTube, we at Goldylocks Productions, all of the hosts have now this amazing opportunity to say thank you to our viewers, and a reciprocal exchange as viewers have an opportunity to engage in super chats and super stickers simply by purchasing, and it's easy. You'll see the emojis. And again, this is only for YouTube, and it's a great way for you to give a love offering, and an exchange of love and gratitude for what's being offered today. It helps support my perch, my Enlightening Conversations, as well as Goldylocks Productions. And we know it's so important to have these amazing alternative platforms right now so that we can offer our sacred offerings as teachings and opportunities to gather and share. And I would like to invite everyone also to comments, any questions you have during this live stream. I am working off of my mobile phone. So what I do is I go back after the show at some point and in the days to follow, and I will definitely exchange and participate with you. And I really enjoy the participation, because after all, that's why we're here. And again, that's a lot of information, but that's how we roll here on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. And so without further ado, over there in the on the side is my dear friend, Linda Gail McLeod, Reverend Linda Gail McLeod. Welcome to the perch, sister.
Thank you. They're not supposed to say, I'm not nervous at all. Thank you. I'm honored to be here and be a friend and share this journey with you.
Absolutely. It is a mutual, a reciprocal joy and honor for sure. Just a little bit here about Linda, and then we're going to just, as we do every Tuesday, just when I have a special guest, just flow through, and the hour goes by so quickly, but just a little bit about Linda. And, there's some relevance here. As I was thinking a few days ago, I was kind of getting the guidance to put a shout out to Linda, to you, Linda, and invite you on. And I really wasn't thinking too much at the moment when I reached out to you about the significance of yesterday's holiday that we celebrate Martin Luther King Day. And for all of our viewers, Linda's been, she's had such an amazing journey in the body temple. She's her soul agreed to come into this lifetime. So she is a graduate of Tuskegee University, and she studied electric engineering. It was a degree in electric engineering. She was employed for 35 years at Honeywell Incorporated, and she was a very dedicated and valuable community leader at First Unity of St. Petersburg for 20 years in the different capacities as a prayer chaplain, also as the coordinator of the prayer chaplain program, as well as youth ministry, which I know is a huge passion for her. She has had such a positive, I don't like the word impact because that seems to collide, such a positive effect, I suppose, is a maybe more gentle way, on so many people's lives, the youth, but not just with it, First Unity, beyond because of retreats and so forth, but also so many adults, as well as she was in ministerial training at First Unity, and really put a lot of dedication, her heart and soul into that space, which is where the two of us met. And we'll talk a little bit about that perhaps as we go. I also want to acknowledge that she did her ministerial training at Unity of Palm Harbor. Did I say that right? Ministerial training, yeah. Yes. Which was, I know, huge, and I was also able to, and a joy to be able to tag team with her in a women's divine.
Yes, the women's retreat. Yes, awesome.
It was awesome. And then she is currently administrator and pastoral care minister at Unity of Temple of Truth in St. Petersburg, Florida. And that's just a little bit about what she's done this lifetime. So, woo! Anything that you'd like to share about any of that? That's a lot. Anything that we're going to just flow through here, and
Sure.
But, yeah.
Yeah. It's I look at that sometimes and think, wow, I did what? I did what? No, that wasn't me. I don't know who did all that stuff. But it's starting to gel, starting to understand why I did the things that I did to bring it to this place now where we're in this evolving, this evolution.
Absolutely. And one of the things that comes to mind for me, you and I have talked about this in the past, and as most of us are aware that we are in this time of the balancing of the divine masculine and feminine, which has been out of balance eons and eons of time. And you and I have talked about the profiles we've come into in these body temples, and very different, and yet we have been certainly movers, beyond movers and shakers. We have in our journey, I always see the salmon swimming upstream, because I know my journey, as well as yours, has put you in places where you were not the norm, and whatever that means, and all the tags that we wear, and in our appearances and our beingness. And boy, have we, really had to. We've worked hard, and how many times rising up from the ashes, whether it be careers, communities, lots of betrayal and abandonment that we've experienced so many times. And that's where I think what you were saying, as far as how, this is all starting to make sense now, how we had to go through these things, these lessons, to be in the capacity that we are in the now.
Yes.
Is there anything of any of those, I know you were growing up in Alabama, and at a time, in the segregation, and then to step into in your brilliance of deciding to go on to school, and with Tuskegee. Would you like to speak to any of that? Because you've got so much. Like I said, I've listened to you for a little bit. Let's
the journey for me was I grew up in South Alabama, and we grew up in community which was segregated. But we didn't know that we were, we just had our community. Everybody in my community was related. We always lived except one family. And we had, we were farmers, and we had crops. We worked to bring in the crops. And that part of that was, my dad was such a interesting person. And he made it fun for us. His joy was for us not to be, not to make it always drudgery, but to have some fun with it. And so growing up, my dad had sent my brother off to college, and he said, "Dad, I can't do it." So he quit. My sister went off to college, and she quit. So when I came along, I said, "Dad, I want to go to college." He said, "So?" I was like, "But Dad, I want to go to college." He said, "Yeah, if you can figure it out, you can go to college." So I started working in a factory, textile factory in South Alabama, with my family, and because everybody worked in a textile factory. And my family would go, "London, stop it. You're going to be going off to school, and we're going to be stuck here, with your stuff." And so I had to back off on a lot of things that I would have been changing and shifting. And so hence my friend, I call him a friend, he came home and he said, "London, you're just going to get fatter, and not do anything." He says, "I tell you what, I'm going to get you into college." He filled out all the paperwork, all of it. every piece of it. And I signed on the dotted line. My dad signed on the dotted line. We sent it off, and here I am in college. I'm here, college. Woohoo! I get there that first day. We go in and look up for my paperwork, and they don't have any. All they have is my initial requirement to get in. They've lost all my financial aid, everything. And I say, okay, I can't go back home because I'm here. So my friend says, let's figure out how we can get you in college. And so we looked, and the only way that possible was there was 3 options for me. And that was through the non-traditional field, either for a female or for a Black. And at the time that I went in, since I went in the second semester, I had a choice of engineering, forestry, and vet med. And so I said, I guess it's going to be engineering. And so I signed up for the engineering classes, and I needed money to get through that first semester. So I went down to the financial aid office, and he says, Luna, you're in school. Don't bother me in that. I said, but I need to eat for a month, 2 months. And he said, I said, I'm not leaving your office until you give me the money to be able to eat for 3 months. And so that went through that idea of being in college, and I was only going to be in engineering for 1 semester. And so they said, well, which engineering do you want to be? Electrical, mechanical? I said, I hate mechanical things, so I'm going to be electrical. And I had professors that would not let me drop out of college. They, he said, hey, what I'm having, he says, well, I tell you what, you just take classes, and we'll see what happens. So essentially, I was in my 4th year of college, and I'm having to graduate. And so my professor said, I tell you what I'll do, Linda, I will help you graduate this semester so that you can move on with it. And I said, I had a laugh. I'm not working for this company and this company. I'm working for this company, and that company didn't hire me. So I ended up at a company in Virginia. I loved it. But that idea for me was, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to graduate, and I don't care what it's in, and that I'm going to be successful at that determination that came from my dad and my mom, that we can do. My mom used to tell us all the time, she said, you could do anything that you want to do.
Wow.
You can do anything that you want to do.
That's beautiful. And powerful, and yet freeing, right? I mean, it gives you freedom, and yet the inspiration. And what a gift. What a gift she was giving all of you.
Yep, she was not my friend. Me and my mom was not friends. Not at all. And I think I realized later in life, because I'm just like her. She was one of those downloaders. She studied the Bible. She studied and practiced what she learned. She wasn't just a it was see it through me, live it through me. So the journey. Yeah, that was that. I'm going to graduate, and I'm going to graduate with honors. And so I did graduate, and that was the first step in the journey. So,
well, for those who maybe didn't speak it at the time, haven't often enough, congratulations, and thank you for that strong soul of yours, and knowing, of course, we don't know the journey when we start out, and we learn the lessons, and we make errors, and then it guides us forward. And then, you went on to, and as admirable as all this is, and so relevant. I know we've got another big topic, but I think it'd be really cool if there's something you would like to share about. I know you're so proud, and those of us that know you are so so proud of you as well, and your work with Honeywell. I know that was huge. Would you like to share highlights, or what you were able to, what maybe was some of your greatest moments of joy and celebration for yourself, as far as successes that you'd like to share?
Honeywell was my land. I took on a very masculine role in my life, that I was the masculine energy and never be, the weak female. So I at Honeywell, I had a lot of people that wanted me to be successful, and that I think today I know that was part of this journey of going through so much of the things that we went through. Well, I would say my greatest feeling of success for Honeywell was creating our diversity council, creating a space for diversity at Honeywell. Honeywell was not said this way, it was diverse in the number of people, but it wasn't diverse in how it treated people. And so what we did was we created the Black Employees Network, which was the catalyst for all the other networks. And in order to do that, well, step back one, we had the Women's Network. They've always had the Women's Network. And it was like a social club. It wasn't a professional organization. And my HR director, he says, Linda, I make a deal with you. He says, I want that to become a very professional organization. I don't want any more craft fairs. I don't want any more Saturday morning, any of that stuff. So we created the Women in Industry Forum. From that, which it's still going on. They still have it, Women in Industry Forum, which is an event that they hold. Well, I don't know if they're having it now, but that once a year we would have this big forum where we would bring all of the women in the Tampa Bay area where they can come and share how to be professional women with classes and ideas and stuff. So coming out of that was we had another organization called, it was called FAME, but it was a Black organization. And my HR director, I call him my HR director because we made a pact that we would work together to support each other, because I did not like the fact that Blacks were not treated well in Honeywell. And I would not go out and recruit, which I did recruiting, unless they understood that these people would not stay at Honeywell. They wouldn't. They'd leave after 2 to 3 years because there would be no promotional, no growth or anything. And so we had decided to go to headquarters and literally go to headquarters and have our first meeting to decide what would we create as the Black Employees Network. And we created Black Employees Network because we had a lot of other names. And part of that was understanding that we had to put each individual agenda aside in order for us to be able to bring about a big shift in how Blacks were viewed at Honeywell. And we created this program that allowed for Blacks to be able to move up. We had, we would do a big event every year, invite management. We had, we created a space that allowed the other organizations to copy us, and how we became very professional in our approach, how we set up classes, how we made it possible for that anybody who was looking for an opportunity, here are some tools you can use, even if you just use them to move on, but here's some really solid foundational tools that you need in order to do your job. You know, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you approach people. And we had a board that were made up of very professional people of Honeywell, upper level echelons that was on this board, that made sure that we were in alignment with what we were trying to create, was a world where it was okay to be diverse and to do the work that you do, love it, and be rewarded for it. So we ended up with, we had the Black Employees Network, we ended up with the Asian Pacific Network, and we, disabilities. And my favorite was Pride. I loved our Pride Network. It was a showcase of all of our events, because to have a Pride event at Honeywell was like to have, you know, and we had all of these very rigid Christians there, very, very rigid Christians that were anti GLBTQ. So it was that awareness of growing a community that supported each other on a regular basis, and to have that board that looked at what was the overall objective of each of the organizations collectively, yet what was it that they could do. So for example, I always laugh, we used to have the Hispanic, can't say Hispanic anymore, you have to say Latinos. And so the biggest fight every year was, which side of the divide that we were going to have for the event. You know, it's like one side was the salsa and all the other one, and the other one was the Cuban aspects of it. So, but oh my God, we used to have so much fun to dancing. That growth of coming together as a collective and being able to support each other in our own individual spaces. So yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you. And I see some amazing super chats and coming up on the screen while you're speaking. I just want to say thank you to those who contributed. And again, I'll go back when post show and give proper gratitude. So thank you to all who are posting, and we encourage all who feel guided to do so. Because Linda, as you were speaking, you know, it's so perfect for the time we're in right here, right now, and this January 19th, 2021, because, you know, all that foundation that you were building within those systems that you were in, much like, you know, one of the things I mentioned at the top of the show that you and I have had, you know, we've been pioneers. I've done a tremendous amount of work with equality, both with, Title IX as a women's volleyball coach and a physical education teacher for 28 years in a very rural area with a lot of good people. You get very conservative mindset where equality was not the best interest or was not the way, and you know, really had some bumps and bruises from my journey and carrying that flag of equality and teaching those who were my students, those who were my athletes, that let's look outside this window and see the picture of equality, and you know why it is necessary that we see that the women's programs, the girls' programs are receiving equality to the boys' athletic programs, and whether it be court time or through boosters and all that stuff that goes on, you know, as well as all the LGBTQ work that I have also done. And so you and I met in an area, St. Petersburg, Florida, which is a really great space to be in, that it is what I think in a lot of ways, see how you feel about this. I think it's a nice model for this, what America was meant to be, as far as, you know, everybody comes together. Where there's so much diversity, there's so much culture, there's so much, you know, art, there's sports, there's beautiful, you know, the land, the waters, and you know, of course you have pockets where there's more narrow mindset, but it is a great model of unity, consciousness, and wellness, and yogas, meditation, spiritual communities, drum circles, on and on and on. So, you know, and here we are today, and on the brink, on the eve of, you know, a huge time in this country as we're moving forward into unity consciousness, more and more and more, as more people are awakening, and those of us who are so many all across Earth Mother, really holding the energies of love and light and peace, knowing that that's why we've come here to Earth Mother. You know, this is our mission, and what a time to be here. So it's a very awesome time. I see, I'm just kind of looking at the clock. Like I said, the time always goes. I would, you know, I think it's so important to share today your journey of healing and expansion. So I'm going to just let you take it from there. Just kind of, you know, go with it. Tell us what you recently moved through.
Pam, it's interesting because, you know, I was out in the universe for about 34 days. I tell people I didn't even know that I was conscious. My body shut down, literally shut down, in that awareness of, I don't know what's going on. And it was an interesting walk through it, to be in the universe and not attached to it, to be able to float out there in that. The consciousness of the universe is so very big. We are, as humans, are limited to a small capacity of the ability to reach the depths of this universe. I was my first awareness was that I had a heart, that my heart was beating too fast, not too fast, adding pulses to my heartbeat. I was like, so I told the guy, I said, but those are my love beats. He said, no, honey, those are causing you problems.
You got a lot of love. You say that, but I got a lot of love.
So the first journey was to take those, to try to normalize my heart rhythm patterns. And so they kept me in hospital for 4 days, told me that the potential of some blood clots might occur, and sent me home. But I tell you what hit me in that hospital that changed everything for me. This lady came in one night. I call them vampires. They would take 6 vials of blood from me every day. I was like, do you need that much? Those baby vampires cannot drink that much blood. So what are you doing with this? She said, and so this lady, she said, around 4 o'clock in the morning, she said, you got it, didn't you? I looked at her and I said, got what? She said, you got the deepness of it. She says, I had it. Nobody in my family got it, got the COVID. She says, I noticed that my coworkers, none of them got it from me. And she says, and you got it. I said, I got what? She says, look inside. She said, there's a newness in your soul that has been touched. And I looked at her and I go, you know, I'm out of it anyway. So I just kind of like go back to sleep. Okay, I'm dead. And the next day, there was a shift, an opening. At least I would say an opening. And then I went back into the body shut back down. The body shut back down. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep.
So
The body.
is that my,
Physicality.
hey, check, I'm not sure if it's my volume. Do you hear that? Are you hearing that like echo? Check your volume, maybe down just a little bit. I've adjusted mine a couple times. I don't think it's mine. Excuse me. Did you turn your volume down a little bit?
I don't know how.
Okay, no worries. We'll just keep rolling.
Okay.
I was, for clarity's sake, so you went into the hospital originally because your heart was sending out so much love. Okay? So, and then they give you this. So is at this point then, as you're saying, you know, your body started shutting back down, is what I think I just heard you say. How long had you been in the hospital at that point, and just kind of maybe some of what your body, your symptoms that you were experiencing, and then we'll go.
It's interesting because people say, well, what were your symptoms? I had no symptoms.
Okay.
I had a cough, you know, what do you call it? Like bronchitis type cough with the phlegm coming up all the time. And just total fatigue, total complete fatigue. And no food, fatigue, and the cough was all I had. I was not put on oxygen. Matter of fact, I took the oxygen off because it was bothering me. And the lady came in, she says, well, if you can stay above a certain percentage, I will not put it back on you. So they didn't put the oxygen back on. And so I went back into that, the body shut back down again, and wasn't present on this plane of existence. My body was here. And they gave me, you know, they were treating me. They gave me the, I call them platelets, whatever they're giving people who have
Plasma.
Plasma. Yeah,
Okay.
I had to take the plasma, and then I had the fluids to fight off the antibodies. I mean the pneumonia, the bacteria, the drugs to fight off the bacteria. So so I was just laying there in that space and just being in the space of just being there. So I wasn't conscious of being here because I was always out there somewhere floating in the universe, or and I want to say it was like a floating, it was a conscious opening to the universe, the wholeness of the universe. And
like a portal. Yeah.
Yes, like a portal.
Okay.
Yeah, like a portal. And so my so the thing that really was interesting is my when I got there, my girlfriend, she called and they got me in right away. I was in from the emergency room into my room within like 4 hours, which is basically unheard of. Actually, it was like less than that. And they started, feeding me drugs and stuff to get my body to start reacting. Okay. And so just being there, conscious, but not, in the portal, in the opening. And so on Wednesday, I woke up for the first time.
That was so how many days had passed?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. So woke up Wednesday and it was like, oh, I'm still here. And then again, dropped back into that, out of it for a couple of days. And then on Friday is when I woke up. I literally woke up on Friday and hungry. Food! It was so funny because the nurse said, she says, "Are you hungry, Linda?" I'm like, "If you don't bring me some food, one of y'all might be missing."
Turn to cannibalism.
So finally, the girl was able to get me some food, and I was like, man, that was like food. And so from that point on is when I really slowly started to drift back and being here. And the doctor, I could have went home on Saturday, but my family said, why go home on Saturday? There's nobody at the house. You're just going to be sitting there doing nothing. So might as well enjoy being in the hospital for the rest of the couple of days. And I tell you, those were the best doctors and nurses. I got into where I couldn't sleep unless I was doing the deep sleep music, because my brain had to have something to focus on. And so the nurses, the nurses would come in and stand in the room because it was quiet and they could get away from what was going on outside and just be in that space. Best set of nurses. They would come in and advocacy. Another part of being in the hospital, get a good healthcare advocate. You have to have. They will give you all kinds of drugs. I would just say no, not taking that. and they started to really appreciate it. So they would tell me exactly what the drug was, what was doing to me, and I would say no, I don't want that. And they really appreciated that.
Yeah, it's, as you're saying, it's so important to have an advocate, or you were able, it sounds like at that point, to be able to do your own. I've spoke on this show that for the last year, been caregiving for my parents and through my mom's really bad fall in May. I was speaking this just the other day to some people that I don't. It's all divine order, of course. I was so grateful that I could be her advocate, the one in the hospital, the one in the ambulance with her, to make those decisions, because there's no way. I mean, she would have had a surgery that I don't think she was strong enough to survive had I not said, no, we're not doing this tomorrow. We're going to wait. And so I can, imagine, I understand what you're saying. And that there's so many viewers that are watching and will watch that, can probably relate in this year of 2020, where we've had, so much to deal with in the midst of being forced to have greater separation. So, yeah, I don't know if, I know privacy and so forth, but I know you're giving accolades to the staff and the facility. Do you want to mention where you were, or do you want to just keep that private?
I would love to mention it because it was such a powerful place. St. Anthony's Hospital in St. Petersburg, Florida. Those nurses and doctors were 100%. One of the things that I share with this was funny. I have a do not resuscitate, period. If I'm gone, let me go. So the doctor, he says, you cannot have a do not resuscitate. I said, yes. He says, you're too young to have a do not resuscitate. I said, so? And he said, if you have a do not resuscitate, all I can do is just put you on some drugs and let you die. I'm like, yeah, come on. And he called my sister. He made my sister tell him that I have a do not resuscitate. So my poor sister Hazel had to go, well, that's what she has. I don't know, but I'm sure.
Oh man, Hazel. God bless you, Hazel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, understanding what your rights are as a person with choosing how you want to live your life health-wise. Powerful.
Yeah, and I can't object here because we are in the midst of so much between, people making choices, to vaccinate, not vaccinate, do this, do that, do your research. But, that means you have to pay attention to who the resources are that you're taking your research from, because that's huge.
Amen. Amen.
There's been so much covered up and so much manipulation. And so, the discernment comes from within. And when we get still, your inner compass is going to let you know if that's a yes or if that's a no for you. And then then we are being called to stand in that sovereign power and say yes or no, which again, it is so important to have, your living will and all that in place. I'm sure through 2020, a lot more people
will have them. Yeah.
But, just because a doctor says doesn't mean it's right. Just because a scientist says doesn't mean it's accurate. And, that's where we're at. And so, again, so important to discern and to stand in your own power, in our own power. And hopefully we have, like you said, if we have advocates, to make it really clear with them, because it's always hard to make choices and decisions, and it has to come from each individual, and then it's a lot easier to, to abide in their wishes. But yes, at this time when all across the land, people are toiling with, well, do I vaccinate or do I not? It really takes some discernment, and not from this fear and this fear base that's been being agenda that's been being pushed throughout certainly America, and I'm sure beyond. So. Yeah, so then let's see, I'm looking here. So you've got another 20 minutes or so. So as you were, tell us what you will about, as you were saying, you were you've in a different place. And of course, for those who don't know Linda, obviously she is an evolved soul. We are old souls together. We've recognized that.
Yes, a long time ago. Yes, we are.
We are, but so it's not like she just had this awakening, but she is, as I say, in this her ascension process, this is part of what she experienced to open that gap that probably, that's the divine order of it all, isn't it? Because you wouldn't have said, yeah, I'm going to go experience this so I can get there. Just like along our life's journeys, all these lessons and stuff that we go through, we don't, most everything we would not go, yeah, I'm going to experience that so I can up a level, right? Yeah.
Yes. What happened for me was such a deep awakening to the truth that is occurring on the planet. This disease is not a disease. It's a ushering in of the next era, the 13th year of the Mayan calendar, or the first year being repeated of the Mayan calendar. Is that we're at that Neanderthal. I keep saying it wrong. Neanderthal. We're at the beginning evolution of fight or flight. And my fight or flight is not about you. It's all about me, because I need to survive. I don't care that you survive, but I have to survive. And then to recognize that the shift is that it's an opening for us to be ready for the next evolution of the planet. And the next evolution is the age of Aquarius. Remember, we're going into the age of moving from the me to the us, to the collective. And in that awareness, it is very, we're at the Jordan River, right? We're there. We've spent 40 years at taking what it takes to decide that we can go in. But who went in? None of that old generation could go in because they needed to die out with those old ideas in order to keep from going in, taking that same old crap into the new. And so the ones that went in had not, were not a part of that old generation. They were a whole new generation. And so as we were stepping in the gap, what's got to happen? What's got to happen is that we have to have those warriors that are standing there saying, let's march. We've got to move forward. And so as we're in that space, the old, and souls are making conscious decision to leave the earth right now. You know, people, oh, these people are just dying and they're just dying. Some of them are making conscious decisions to allow the new babies. There's going to be lots and lots and lots and lots of babies being born. You know why we need lots and lots of babies to be born? Because these are the kids that are going to be the wayshowers, the problem solvers. They're the ones that's going to be holding the light for us as we transition into this new arena of oneness, of the collective. And but
just to interject, excuse me, one of the things on that note that you and I were speaking of last night is we both spent a good bit of our lives educating children and the youth.
Exactly.
And, you know, we've taught through a generation that was very me oriented, and yet intuitive and had their gifts. And you've got one of your own, and yet, and you've taught so many. So we saw this playing out. But the new babies that are arriving, they are such lights, these souls. They are so much more in the divine feminine, very well balanced, but they've got all those divine feminine qualities. They're very compassionate. They're, loving. They are tuned into Earth Mother, the divine mother, Earth Mother. And, they have an awareness in their beingness of unity. And, with not just with the people, but with all the kingdoms. And that is so refreshing. So as you were saying, this is the new wave coming in behind, and thank Goddess, because that's the generations to the back. And we know that, as the Native Americans always taught, the ancestry is, as we are in our beingness and what we are doing, what we are choosing to do, what we are choosing to create here in this great web of life, we have to consider to the generations 7 to the front, 7 to the back. And as you said, this old patriarchal structure is collapsing, all the systems, so that we can create this new earth in this time of Aquarius, which is the unity consciousness, right? The Christos, and the peace era, golden enlightenment era of peace and love. Absolutely. Good stuff.
Good stuff. And what's fun about it is we get to watch it. We the ones that are here to hold the high watch. We get to support those transformations, and we get to see how it's playing out. We get to teach the children. We get to teach the children how to be thinkers instead of how to be rote. The old system was rote. You do as I say as I do, and if you don't, I will beat the crap out of you. Right.
And here, how about this? It's just coming through. And at the time when you and I grew up, it was under that old patriarchal system, which is why we've had to remember and hence go through all the lessons that we did. But one of the things where you said we get to teach the children, absolutely. And as I see it as the bridge, which I know as a wisdom keeper, and you as well, we are the bridge bridging the generations, because
Mhm.
these youngsters who are coming in and the babies that are arriving, they have so much to teach us, because they've come in and they know, many of them, the awakened ones especially, they know their missions, and so many of them have come in to into families with parents who are able to hold them in their originality, so
Yes.
that they don't lose their intuition and their sacred gifts. And we've got a friend. We're going to give a shout out to Kaya Belcher, who
Yes.
has created play schools down in Gulfport, Florida. What an amazing model our sister Kaya has created there, where she's got a whole preschool of these children. And boy, talk about a great model for education. Sister Kaya is holding it and has been for a number of years. And what a beautiful and exciting community to be part of. So
Mhm.
absolutely.
And one of the things that for me, and for the meditation, I'm going to read one of my poems, and you can do the flute. We can do the meditation with my poem. It's called The Arrival of the Healer. So about 2000, exactly in 2000, I went from a very masculine to a very neutral kind of person, because I was so into the masculine, so into the logic, so into the it's got to be done the way, boom, boom, boom. And I knew I had shifted, because we were with the kids, and normally one of the girls had lost her pillow. My normal attitude was, honey, that pillow is gone. So she said, but Miss Linda, it's my pillow. I love my pillow. It's my favorite pillow. And I'm going like, yeah. So we went from bus to bus, van to van, left our phone number and information that if anybody found this pillow, they would send it back to us. And guess what? We found the pillow and was sent back to her. That was a shift for me, a huge shift. I was walking the labyrinth at one of the places in one of the retreat centers with the children. And as I was walking through it, that healer came through. The arrival of the healer, the arrival of this consciousness that is no longer the masculine, but the divine feminine, that can be open and receptive to the needs of the children, whether it's a 70-year-old man or a teeny tiny baby, but to be open to that mother energy and allowing that energy to be present, so that you can enjoy being in the moment of that awareness and feeling that mother energy. If you, and everybody's felt that energy, that mother energy.
And we'll get started here soon, because we have about 10 minutes is all. But what I want to say is, so typical for those of us who have been such givers. When I hear you say, you're speaking from your heart about the children and teaching the children, holding them in a certain way. The other piece that most of us were not taught was that, and this is most important, the self-love, the self-nourishment, the self-worth. That's the divine feminine, right? This is the balance of the divine sacred union within each of us. That's where that's our goal. And once we get there, then we stay in balance, and we move in partnerships that are reciprocal. We see a law of attraction who we're aligning ourselves with for healthier relationship, also healthier community being global. Yeah. So let's you want me to let's set up the sacred space. And like I said, we've got about 10 minutes. You want me to play first and then you read, and then I'll close out, Flute?
Yes. Yeah. Just start it with the good music. Your nice flute.
Medicine here. So we ask all of our viewers to, just get comfy, whatever that means for you. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable. If you're in a space where you can lay down and just relax, that's awesome. Wherever you are, we're going to just tune in here at the sacred space and know that we are all so divinely enfolded, protected, loved. Here we go.
The arrival of the healer. The answer is anger draws anger. Peace draws peace. Today, I release the warrior inside. I accept the healer with joy. Oh, joy. I lay aside my tools of war. I lay aside my shield and my sword. I lay aside my shield and my sword. I take up the tools of peace. Peace. I take up my robe and staff. I lay aside my book of strategies. I lay aside my book of strategies. I take up my book of remedies. I release the warrior's need to win. I accept the healer's desire to heal the lost soul. This desire is not to save the soul, but help the soul remember it is connected to the source. This desire is not to save the soul, but help the soul remember it is connected to the source. This desire is not to guide and support the soul's journey back to knowing that it is truly good. This desire is to guide and support the soul's journey back to knowing it is truly good. I bring to this journey of soul, remembering its long search for connection. I bring to this path the soul seeking to connect with others on the search for self. I come to supper with a cup filled with love, joy, and peace. The healer has arrived. Today, be the healer. Thank you.
Wow. That is so powerful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing that through, putting it down and sharing it. So I'm going to give you just a moment, and then I'll close out with the flute. So, and again, we're still in sacred space here, but wow, just that, the energy moving through me was just, and I'm sure palpable. And for all who are participating and who will participate, thank you so much, Linda. What a gift. So as we begin to wind down here towards the end of our hour, I would like to just give Linda a minute here or so to speak of, where people can connect with you, find you, and any services you might be offering. I know that you're doing your thing, and well, go.
I'm open right now. I am looking at the 4 possibilities that have been downloaded for me to do. One is to work with the children. Some possibility with that already. My nephew is a social worker. I'm throwing it out there. Pray for him because he's going to be the director of the program. He doesn't know it yet. He's fighting it. Micah. Yes. The other one is to be a bridge. There's a lot of people who have been damaged by religious practices that have affected how they respond to new thought and new energy and new life, and have an opening for them. And I have 4 friends that have in ministry that have gone through that. And I'm working to create that bridge so that we can have an opening for people to contact us and talk about it and be clear, of what they're going through and how they can work through that.
So important.
And the other one is it's a space where people can connect with each other at a soul level. So one of the things that I'm looking at is creating a place where people can start to do the soul work, the energy inside of them work. Not for money, not for any of that kind of stuff, but for those people that are looking for a deep soul connection that they haven't been able to bring forth because of the energies that have crippled their bodies and some of the trauma that has happened in their lives. So that space. So that's where I am. And then I have one that's open that I'm kind of keeping secret for a while until it, the ones that are here are already downloaded. They're not like I got to put them together. They are physically in place to start operating. This 4th one over here, I don't know what it is yet. I don't know what that opening is. So I am doing a vision board on my birthday. My birthday is the 22nd.
Yeah.
I'm a 2-2, and it's also my 66th birthday. And so
numerology there, sister.
I know. Angel numbers. And so on Saturday, I'm going to be doing a vision board burning bowl ceremony. And I'm going to put up a Zoom link I'm probably going to call it Linda's, whatever. I'm not using my name. But anyway, it'll be a bowl burning vision board. And so like I'm going to do a prayer-in at 1 o'clock for people who want to start doing their vision board. And then at 6 o'clock, I'm going to have a live burning bowl for people who live in the community that want to come by. You have your own with family and friends that you can do. I'll do a ceremony around that. And then, for the rest of the afternoon, people can just share their vision boards and their visions and just chit chat. So
beautiful. And I'm just going to mention real quick for people who don't know, you find Linda on her Facebook page. She has started a journey of a dedicated 2 times a day meditation since how long have you been doing it? Since the early on of COVID, I think, wasn't it?
When I was stuck home. I started in March. I was like, wow, right. I'm stuck home. And
you do, what time is it in the morning? What time do you do your?
I do 8 o'clock
Eastern
for half an hour, and 9 o'clock Eastern PM for half an hour. And it's just a half an hour. It's an alignment, attunement, so that you can be conscious, so that you can start to vibrate. My tagline is vibrating at the frequency of love. And so that we can start to operate more often in the frequency of love instead of those lower level or upper level frequencies that get us distracted from the truth of who we are. And so, you're going to go through it, and we go through life and we go into those sadness and the people go into all that stuff. And so, how about just being able to relax in a few minutes and align with the body, mind, spirit. And I have a 5-fold piece of that, which is the body, the mind, the spirit, the consciousness of God, and then the universe, and then the observer, the person or thing that is observing this earth evolution. The earth is contained. Everything that's within the earth is within the earth. We're in a bubble inside of the earth. And that is that journey that we're not traveling outside of that bubble in the consciousness of this earth experience. Even though they say we've been in outer space. I didn't say that we've been out of space, but remember, we can't go past the stratosphere. We have not found anything that can shoot through that at this point that will allow us to go into that space, because the universe is collected. It's surrounded in this bubble called Earth. End of conversation. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for your So real quick, again, you can connect with Linda on her Facebook page and see what she's up to and what she's offering and where she's at. And again, if you'd like to connect with me, I don't have a website. You can do that on my Facebook page. You go to there it is. Tiffany's right on spot. You see the services that I'm currently offering. Just connect with me. I'd be glad to help you along your soul evolutionary expansion journey. And with that being said, I'm going to play us out with the vibration of love, unity, consciousness, peace, and joy. Blessings to all. Thanks again, Linda. Thanks, everyone, for being with us. Be the love, be the peace, be the joy. Bless everyone.
Become a Goldylocks Productions VIP patron. Receive exclusive access to live stream special and other epic perks. Join the Goldylocks Productions VIP community today.